Hello everyone! You may notice that I've changed up our graphics. Yay! I was getting a little bored with my front page, and so hopefully you're excited about this, and it seemed to fit with our topic this week, which is graphic novels, manga, and more. Of course, this is Young Adult Materials, SLIS 757, and we are working on part 1 of the week of October 7th of 2018. Here we go. So our learning outcomes this week include, by the end of the class, you will be able to learn about collection development and graphic novels, understand the importance of using graphic novels across the curriculum, learn about resources available to help with the use of graphic novels in schools and public libraries, and learn about numerous graphic novel titles for grades 6 through 12. So, what is a graphic novel? Hopefully you've seen them, read some, you've incorporated them in libraries or bookstores where you've worked. Initially I poo-pooed them, but I was convinced, I think back in 2002 or 2003, to start collecting them in my library. Anyway, it's more than a comic book. It is an original book-length story, either fiction or nonfiction, published in a comic book style, or a collection of stories that have been published previously as individual comic books. And that's a definition from Michelle Gorman. It is a format rather than a genre. You can have multiple genres of graphic novels. It's a long comic book that will need a bookmark. That's from Will Eisner. So you should certainly know about manga. I struggle with manga as a reader. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, manga, Japanese word for comic book. They are comics originally published in Japan. They are read right to left. That's what blows my mind. I have a whole lot of trouble following the sequencing because they read right to left. They are serial, meaning there are multiple books, which I find a little bit of a challenge as the only librarian because I have to keep track of when new ones come out, though my students or my patrons do a pretty good job of saying, hey, Miss Haverkamp, you need to order books 19 through 26. So that helps keep me on track. There are subcategories of manga. There's shoujo for teenage girls and shonen, young teenage boys. Of course, kids can read across the gender. I see more of the shonen than the shoujo, but there are, of course, multiples in each category. And then there's manhwa, which is Korean manga, and I don't know that I have a bunch of those in my library. And I don't have a lot of requests for them, but I will say I have a large manga readership. So the Japanese version of these comic books is called anime. It's Japanese animation. It's available in TV, films, videos, video games, and on the internet. It represents most, if not all, genres. A really popular title is Naruto. I think I have about 50 of these, but I think there are over 70 books at this point of Naruto. You can notice the difference in the drawing style. The Japanese anime is a little bit more angular in some ways, and the eyes are really big in this too, so that doesn't really distinguish them. Anyway, Naruto I think is the third best seller of anime books and has sold over 250 million copies, probably more than that at this point. All right, graphic novels are really gaining in popularity. In 2015, graphic novel sales in the US and Canada were 1.03 billion. Kids' graphic novel sales are definitely on the rise, up 35% year to date. Digital graphic novels sales were 90 million in 2017. Public libraries have shown a 25% increase in overall circulation after adding graphic novels to their collections. Miller 2005, similar results with school libraries, and that's from Karen Gavigan, who's in our department at USC, published in 2014. I will tell you, I added graphic novels to my school library, I think in 2003 or 2004. My circulation would support this data. It was amazing how many of the books circulated and how frantic the kids were to get more of them. If you're interested in the history of graphic novel sales, you might want to visit the Comic-Con, the Comics Chronicles website. Sales of graphic novels and comic books from 1966 to the present. It has really taken off, so you can go check this website out. As the popularity of graphic novels has increased, so have the number of awards and recognitions for these books. The YALSA Award for Graphic Novels was created in 2007. Hopefully you've seen Mouse by Spiegelman that won the Pulitzer Prize in 1992. American Born Chinese by Yang won the Prince Award. Then it was a National Book Award finalist. It was a 2007 top 10 best books for young adults. It was on that list. To Dance by Siegel, Prince Honor, ALA's best book for young readers in 2007. Yummy is a Coretta Scott King Author Honor Award, an ALA Notable, a great graphic novel for teens, a YALSA Top 10 Quick Pick for reluctant readers. March, which you've heard about several times in these lectures, was one of the outstanding books for the college bound. And El Defo by Bell was a Newbery Honor book. This one, Summer, was a Caldecott and Prince Honor book. So the YA Graphic Novel Awards are announced at the Youth Media Awards ceremony. It's a YALSA production. And I've left the 2017 up here because it was March, book 3. I'm doing a little bit of a hard sell on this one. It was the Coretta Scott King Book Award, the Prince Award, the Siebert Award, and the YALSA Award for Excellence in Nonfiction for Young Adults. Other awards, it was the winner of the National Book Award for Young People's Literature and the winner of the Will Eisner Award. If you would like to see what ended up on the Graphic Novel Awards list for 2018, I've included the link for that too. But if you haven't looked at March, I highly, highly recommend it. There are 3 books. Book 3 won all these awards, but the other books are excellent too. So what does Stephen Krashen say? Well, why would you care what Stephen Krashen says? He is a fellow who was a linguist who then moved to the Department of Education. He is a professor emeritus at the University of Southern California. I think I have that right, university. I'm working off of memory. Anyway, Krashen is famous for his study of education and how people acquire language and all that good stuff. And he says that 20% more rare vocabulary than typical chapter books can be found in graphic novels. That graphic novels are beneficial to English language learners and low-level readers. Graphic novels can help develop a taste for reading and serve as a bridge to other literature. Yes, it's the gateway drug. And when given the opportunity to select reading materials, boys often choose graphic novels. I will tell you, the boys check out more graphic novels than girls do at my library. That holds up in my little microcosm. What does other research say? Graphic novels are effective in language arts classes. They are popular, they aid to content learning, and students will still read other materials. Graphic novels boosted reading interest among students with disabilities. That's from Young 2005, Gavigan in 2009 and 2011, Smetana and Grisham in 2012. High interest topics and visual support were beneficial to English language learners. There are several research articles that support that idea as well. So what does the research say about gender? Research indicates that males respond positively to images because they are more oriented to visual and spatial learning. A couple of articles support that idea. Graphic novels and reading motivation of male adolescents. Male adolescents are more motivated to read a graphic novel. So are girls, but it really, really pushes males. It makes them much more excited about reading. And high school students read gender in graphic novels. It's an interesting look at how high school students understand gender construct. So hopefully you weren't as biased against graphic novels as I was initially. I poo-pooed them when I had a coworker who was like, oh, let's start a graphic novel collection. And I was like, they're comic books. Graphic novels in schools are really useful. They really are a gateway drug for reading. And in classes, they can help students develop literacy and language skills by reinforcing vocabulary. There is surprisingly good vocabulary in graphic novels. They give students a chance to explore visual literacy and develop critical thinking skills. It's understanding what's happening in the pictures as well as the text. They can present information about literature, history, and social issues in ways that appeal to reluctant readers. So you can involve kids who normally go, nope, not reading, and they might actually pick up the graphic novels. That's a great thing. They really can provide a stepping stone to a full-text classic and springboard to other learning activities. They can inspire challenged students who lack reading confidence, reading ability, or motivation to self-guided reading. And that's from Developing and Promoting Graphic Novel Collections by Miller in 2005. And Spiegelman agrees with me. Comics are a gateway drug to literacy. So, are they appropriate for my collection and my classroom? Yes. Review or update your collection development plan if you're concerned. Use reviews and professional resources. Please use the YALSA established lists if you don't know where to start. There was not a YALSA established list when I started buying them in 2003. I actually went to the local comic book store out on Broad River Road in Columbia. And we said, what's hot and what won't get us fired? And they recommended about 10 different series to us, which was great. You might want to have a teen advisory committee. I figure for me, I have had a teen advisory committee in the past. I'm running out of time to do everything that I need to do. But I feel like my patrons, I ask them, what are we missing? What's coming up next? What's your favorite book? And so I take recommendations as I do circulation. Like, what do you like? And I write things down. And then I have a pile of sticky notes on my desk. And then I start ordering. And then get hands-on with the books. I had several series that I really liked when I first started collecting graphic novels for my library. Unfortunately, the company went out of business. I'll have to tell you that in the next one because I can't remember the name of the company. Anyway, read some of them. And I've told you I struggle with the manga because it goes backwards, but I like a lot of the other ones. I particularly like superhero. So anyway, find out what you like, and then you can chat with the kids about them. They're quick to read most of the time. Some resources to help you with collection development. Do use the YALSA lists, the great graphic novels for teens, the top 10 great graphic novels per year. There are reviews in periodicals and blogs, vendors and jobber websites. I know that some people frown upon having your book jobber make you lists. I have them make me lists because there's just not enough time to create lists from scratch. But I do go through the lists and delete a lot. And then I have certain lists that I create on my own. So, but you'll have to figure out how much time you have when you start working in your own library. So the graphic novel listserv, GNLib listserv, you can subscribe, send a blank email message to gnlib-l-subscribe@topica.com. I have gotten myself off of that list. I have too much email to handle. Again, it depends on your library situation. I used to have an ideal library situation with 2 certified librarians and 2 assistants and no computers to repair. And now it's just me and an assistant and 1,200 computers. So I have a less than ideal collection development habit. Hopefully you'll have more time than I have. All right. So, and Free Comic Book Day is the first Saturday in May, and you can access this website. And I have only participated in that once, but it's kind of fun. You can get a free comic book if you go to your comic book store. So the question really isn't if you should include graphic novels in your collection. It is how you should include them. As librarians and teachers, how can we make our graphic novel collections and lessons more relevant to the curriculum and to our patrons? I can tell you they're already relevant to our patrons. My kids go bananas over them, and my graphic novels circulate more than any other part of my library or any other section. Studies show that graphic novels help make the curriculum more relevant for our students. They enjoy them. I have done some graphic novel lessons working with my English teachers, and the kids really enjoyed the book that we used. And I had my history teachers walk in the other day and say, hey, you know, you really need to order this book called March. Yeah, I'm doing the hard sell on March. It was like, hey, I already have it. And they're like, well, how did you know about it? So it was nice to have that sort of overlap where my history teachers wanted me to get it and I already had it. I had anticipated their need. It's nice when that happens. All right, and I divided this in half because otherwise you would get really sick of hearing me talk, but I don't think I'm going to get to part 2 probably till Tuesday night or maybe Wednesday, so stand by for part 2 of this week's lecture, and I'll get it to you as soon as I can. All right, thanks. Bye.